welcome to Playwright, a podcast about creating and sharing new ways to play. My name is Ryan Hamann. You can call me H.
And I'm Ryan Quintal. You can call me Q.
I think we're both a bit tired today. We've had some pretty much non-stop work ever since this whole COVID situation's been kicking off. We've been working from home, and I know that you're starting up a new job, and things just kind of continue to stay their merry course. But we'll do our best to put as much energy as possible into the show.
Absolutely. I mean, I think you probably feel this if some of you are work from homers or newly remote. Remote work has a tendency of both being a little bit peaceful and serene. You are at your house after all. You have access to your stuff, your resources. But at the same time, it can also exacerbate maybe poor behaviors in other parts of your company, or if you're a company that's not used to remote work, maybe, I don't know about you guys, but people have been a lot of meetings, meeting, and seeing yourself on camera and stuff almost is a little bit performative, and it for some reason is a little extra tiring. For me, anyway.
Yeah, that's true. I'm normally kind of a camera off type of person. Plenty of meetings on our side as well. Just everyone needs that connect, You can't just walk down the hall and talk to people anymore.
Yeah, and were you referring to the Microsoft Connect? Because I would love to actually start talking to people in 3D. Yeah, I guess so. I am ready totally for, a break on the scale of a week. I think I might have to take or something, just because I'm just tired of being on camera.
This is a purely audio medium, so hopefully this will provide a bit of a respite from the on-camera demands.
And let's take this opportunity to announce we are now streaming live the show. No, I'm just kidding. An extra hour of camera time each week. No, we will make it through it, and I certainly hope I'm going to try and adopt your technique here. Maybe go cameraless for a few days, see how that feels.
Yeah, you could do and wear anything you want. All right, let's hop into some video game pitches. I believe I'm going first today. And what I'm going to be pitching is on my Twitter, I put out one of my classic jokey jokes.
Oh.
Oftentimes on Twitter, I will use that as a space where I'll think of something funny and I'll just kind of type out what would be the punchline in an otherwise good joke and not really bother with the setup and just assume that if people think it's funny, then whatever.
That would explain your myriad of tweets that just end with "if you know what I mean."
So I was particularly tickled by this mashup of titles, and Ashton Herman suggested that we turn this into an actual pitch. So here we go. I'm going to be putting forward a title only and see if we can work backwards and create a game from there. This is Everybody's Golf to the Rapture.
Okay. Everybody's Golf to the Rapture. This is a play on what's the golf game? Everyone's Golf?
So it's Everybody's Golf.
Oh, it is Everybody's Golf.
The name of Hot Shots Golf in America. And Everybody's Gone to the Rapture as well, which is a walking simulator that is set in kind of a eerily pleasant, post-apocalyptic in a way, kind of English town side that is now devoid of people. You just kind of walk through and hear kind of ghostly remnants of what people were doing when a strange event kind of unfurled in their county.
I didn't realize that Hot Shots Golf had another name, period, which is kind of a revelation for me here. So, I love Hot Shots Golf. Let's, I guess we are trying to, a perfect 18 holes here will rapture us, potentially.
So the thing about Everybody's Gone to the Rapture is you're just kind of you're going, not quite sequentially, but it's also not entirely open world. You kind of make your way from kind of one part of the town to the next. Explore inside people's homes and in their yards and through the streets and in the churchyard and all these wonderful places. And I just thought it would make for such an evocative kind of golfing type of scenario if you were golfing through a town or I would think it'd have to be more interesting than just a open field like you would get in most golf courses. I'm looking for something a little bit more urban, but perhaps using the kind of this kind of cool thing about kind of the spatial continuity of a golf course and turn that into kind of a narrative space. I love in the newest Everybody's Golf on PS4, you can golf through, 18 holes on a number of courses, but you can also go to like open course and then just kind of like walk or drive around on the golf courses and then, play each hole as you desire. But it really kind of puts you in a different like mindset and perspective, seeing how all the holes are like linked spatially to one another.
It's interesting that you said that, because I immediately, maybe this is the obvious take, but I immediately started going to like walking around a place like Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, but having it also be a golf game, right? So like it's almost golfing in the apocalypse, if you will. No golf cart, or yes, golf cart, and you're tooling around this neighborhood, and when you hit the ball, like maybe there's something special about the ball, maybe the sort of ambient dialogue or the characters that you're discovering, the stories you're discovering can only happen within proximity to the ball, but you can't touch the ball with your hands or else you'll also be raptured. So you're forced to sort of putt it around and see if it can pick up these stories in different locations. So you could set up things like chip shots and sand dune shots and all these types of things because you're trying to really specifically position the ball.
Yeah, in Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, you kind of play, or you don't play as, rather you kind of follow around a
wispy,
kind of a glowing orb of light that kind of wisps around the town. So, we kind of have that element to work with. I would think kind of putting that around would be a good way of, triggering these kind of ghostly stories within its proximity. But, I'd like to, I don't know if it only feels like a golf game in as much as like the locomotion, or whether we incorporate, holes and scores and pars and that kind of thing, or whether we are just using it as a purely mechanical, way to navigate town.
That's interesting. How do we set up goals?
I kind of wish I played a Golf Story now, an RPG on the Nintendo Switch that is looks like a kind of top-down JRPG, but plays everything with golf mechanics. I've started. I've put about 10 minutes into it, but I wish I had done a little bit more homework beforehand.
I wonder if you could do something where you almost get, let's say you take a pretty organically laid out neighborhood, and then you place it, you slice it into all these different sections. It's not really sliced so much in the game, other than maybe some like semi-transparent walls and barriers as you pass from hole to hole. But what you can do is you can drop your ball and like attempt a piece of the neighborhood, and that slice at that moment is the hole that you're working on, and the ball drops in a specific location, and then you have to reach another location with it. And I really like the idea of this. One thing that's sort of not true about Everybody's Gone to the Rapture is it's not very Valve-y. It's not like, hey, take the basketball, play some basketball with it. It's not any of that. So I wonder if you could kind of play a little bit more with physics and play a little bit more with the interactivity of the space, since you have that, I think Dangerous Golf was a recent example of a ball smashing into all these things. Like, potentially things are breakable. Maybe stories are ruinable or missable or something.
Yeah, maybe instead of there being a par, every hit that you take, every kind of stroke causes the whatever kind of ball entity you're batting around to decay a little bit, and you get kind of less and less of the story, or kind of a fuzzier recollection of what happened.
Yeah.
And so to get the full story, you have to find kind of interesting shortcuts. It's one of the things I've been playing Everybody's Golf recently, and I noted, at least in the early, really kind of easy courses, it felt like the game more or less kind of plays itself. Like it does a pretty good job of kind of pointing you in the right direction with your first couple swings. All you have to do is basically just, trust where it points you, wind up to full power, and then let loose with a couple good drives. and without a lot of real kind of choices to make. And I would love if there was a way of incorporating, different paths you can choose, like a Sonic stage, or different, just like real choices to make along the way.
I like that. And one of the things that I'm thinking there is that you could then incorporate some sort of Return of the Obra Dinn like notebook system, that as you're, making different scores on different holes, you're sketching things out, remembering them in your notebook, and you can kind of assemble what happened in a larger, more expansive look.
It'd be neat if there are ways to kind of connect events between holes as well. If you kind of understand via the context of the story that's happening that characters are involved in each other's events, then you go to the, I don't know, what is the area that the people set up the pins on? Anyways, the beginning of one hole that is associated with one character, and maybe kind of like hit it away from, the goal that you're shooting for, like completely off the course into another one of the holes, and just kind of like crossing over in that way, and cross-polluting those elements brings forward new elements of the story you wouldn't have been able to see before.
I like that. And then you can really do some like storytelling, narrative arcs, and then potentially you can like choose 2 pieces of the neighborhood at a time and kind of design your own dogleg courses to connect threads of the story.
Let's go and wrap that one up. I think, we came in with a name. I'm still pretty happy with that. So let's call that one good. And let's go on to whatever you're bringing us today.
What the heck am I bringing us today? So I went into this kind of reluctant about sharing this pitch, but I think it could be really fun. So I was watching, I don't know, do you watch John Oliver on HBO?
Yeah.
So this past week, he introduced the world to, or many of us in the world, to the Lelis Marble League. And I immediately went to YouTube and checked out the Marble League's page, and I was blown away. I found myself watching an hour plus of sweet marble action. And so I really enjoyed it, and I was like, this should get the treatment of your, 2K or Madden sports sim. So let's have the Marble League sports sim, where you can have a wonderful, cool, maybe Tony Hawk style course designer. You can customize and paint your marbles. You can, sign sponsors and the whole thing. And of course, upload your marble videos to the internet so you can get some really sweet commentary on them.
All right, starting the clock there. This is cool. I like a sports game where you aren't actually playing the game. You're just kind of like setting the stakes for it to happen. Because I think one of the things that make these Marvel Olympics so interesting is that obviously there's no consciousness within the competitors. It's all a matter of luck and physics and gravity and all that,
right.
Which is, it feels very fair. And I want to kind of maintain that, which feels kind of antithetical to create a video game in which the characters can't be controlled. But I think, if it's all about, Football Manager kind of works in a similar way.
Yeah.
In a way, this is kind of like Marble Manager.
So I thought that's exactly it. And I think what you can do is maybe treat it like, if you wanted to, a Mario Maker sort of thing, where it's way more about the course design, and potentially like, as you build the course and run the race, you can control the cameras. I know like they have outdoor races, which almost have like a drone following down a long dirt path. But I just thought even with today's Xbox One, PS4 generation, we see things like Dreams and these games that, because they've really focused the scope of their visuals are super, super high fidelity. And I would love to see like super realistic rendered dirt and mud and stuff, designing courses for off-road. And then of course, having cool, like really structured course builders that are about gradations of the ramp, and you build it section by section. It's very clear that that's like how they've put them together. So, and then of course designing the fake little marble crowd would be so good. You could actually put in the paper cutouts that the real sports games use at this point too.
I think, there's a lot of joy to be had from the kind of aesthetic design of the marbles. I'm wondering what else we could do beyond, assembling the courses and getting ready for game time, if there's any aspects
like additional twists,
performance enhancement, or do we, somehow gain sponsorships? Like, what are our responsibilities as the manager?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Maybe that what you do is as you design courses, it would be weird to do this because this would be very unsportsmanlike, right? But place your bets on particular marbles during the race. Like, obviously, this would be terrible in real sports, but if you kind of were able to look and bet on the marbles and use that as a way to earn cash or currency, I would like to see like being able to unlock not only the things that, you see in the Jealous or Gels Marble League courses, but you could add more mechanized things. You could add more almost F-Zero type of like speed pads and things like that you could place across a course, and maybe even eventually you go full Rocket League and allow like marbles to customize their blazing trails and the sounds that they make as they pass by the camera and all that stuff. Gameplay wise though, I'm trying to think about ways to add to that. I guess you could do, in addition to like the main simulator mode, you could actually do like a marble racer, right? Where it feels a little bit more like a Super Monkey Ball, but you're racing.
It would be kind of hands-off at that point, though. Like, what would the player be doing?
Well, I guess you would be able to sort of generally, like in the Super Monkey Ball race model, you'd probably be able to move the ball left and right. I know you're technically moving the courses in Super Monkey Ball, but you can kind of put some English potentially on the marble and then kind of nudge it to make sure that you're hitting those speed pads and those sorts of things. Or maybe it's almost like the original Final Fantasy VII Chocobo races, where you have like an energy pool and you're just choosing when to sort of conserve and boost at different parts of the courses. See if you can really smash into a turn to break free of it, or if you want to try and overtake someone, but of course bump them too hard and, they get a great speed advantage.
So let's think about other events that we could set up as well. Obviously, races are kind of speak for themselves. Could we do long jump, or I would imagine like pole vaulting would be difficult, but not impossible. Shot put, I don't know how that would work, but let's see how many Olympic events we can kind of figure out a way to incorporate.
Man, the sound of marble boxing sounds fun. I don't know if it's pull-offable.
Sumo would be doable.
Sumo would be cool. I like the idea of maybe like a weightlifting, but the weightlifting is like trying to balance an amount of marbles on, a piece of material or something like that. See how many before it all collapses.
Yeah.
How about swimming? Can you make do marbles sink? They do, right?
They would, yeah. You could create probably special marbles that don't sink. Otherwise, you could obviously freeze the water. That would be more like figure skating, which would be a fun event for marbles to compete in.
Yes. Oh my God, the oval figure skating, and then you can do all sorts of spins and stuff, and you design your marble to look exceptionally sparkly. I think that would be really important there too.
Yeah.
Choose your music.
What does progression look like? I feel like once you have, athletes aren't expensive, although maybe they are. Maybe you can trade marbles from other teams, give them your color makeover, and kind of keep your eye on who's performing especially well. Kind of like a, Moneyball the situation, like very literally in this case.
Yeah, I think if one of the main drivers of the game is the sort of create a course and the sharing sort of stuff, then potentially you could build a really lightweight, almost Mario Kart sized racing campaign or preset courses that are, of course, officially licensed by the Jealous Marble League. And on those courses, you could also do like marble class, right? And marble class is like size, weight, and why don't we say like purity or something, like the amount of friction and drag that they have.
Okay.
And so now you have a couple different methods of articulation, and that'd be fun. You can do free-for-all races where all sorts of marbles compete against each other, but then you can have these really structured, like, win the class championship.
I mean, I think it would be pretty fun to do. This might just be cutscene material rather than something you would actually incorporate, but kind of follow the off-track or off of the field lives of some of the competitors here, to see Johnny Marble go home and maybe he's like in a bad relationship or I don't know. Just like put that element of the fiction into it.
That's really funny. I definitely think you should do that. And then that way, like, you have the excuse. I feel like Ubisoft does this with the Rabbids or something like that, but like now you can have like these marbles sitting at their kitchen table in these tiny little, tilt shift, nice little set little vignettes, and have them wearing tiny little pairs of glasses or have small mustaches or something outside. But of course, you have to be hairless when you're competing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can shave your marbles.
And we did it.
Yeah, that is about time. Let's close it down. Let's give it a name.
Well, I could name it after the league. Is that where you were going?
I was also thinking like how people dismissively use the term sports balls a lot, which in this case is pretty accurate to what it is.
Yeah, I do also like the name of the racing series within Jealous Marble Runs is Marbula One. So I do like the idea. Hey, we have Formula One racing. We could also potentially do Marbula One.
Or even, this is going too far, but Marble Ultimate Alliance. Classic riff off of...
I will let you choose whichever one is going to get us the best SEO.
Okay. Well, then we can find out in the show notes. Make that decision later.
How fun.
Got some strong contenders in there.
I feel good about all the options. What were we saying before? We had a moment where we were like, add it, like, put it in the archive or something like that.
Yeah.
I forget what it was. We got to get it back to it.
Okay. Let's hop over to our community and see what y'all have in store for us today.
Yes.
All right, just some familiar names in here. That's all right. Okay. This one comes from Mike Esguerra again, who can always count on for a good video game pitch. Mike says, players compete to see how far they can throw a small European compact car.
I knew you were going to. I knew you were going to pick this one. And let me ask you this, because I don't want to spoil future things, and you can cut this out if you want, but his other pitch is players compete to see who can throw an elevator the farthest.
Well, let's tie them all together here.
Yeah, so I love the idea of almost like a Hot Shots or an Everybody's Strongman competition where you have these really, all of the way I would describe these characters are they all look like the guy screaming in the Clash of Clans logo. Just the most burly men and women, huge bulging, the RPG proportions. Like we're having them throw different things, but is there mechanics to throwing things? I feel like it'd have to be physicsy. You'd have to also have to hold and handle strange objects as well.
We should note as well that Mike did make a couple of very good jokes in his emails. In the one where you were throwing elevators was titled Elevator Pitch, and the one where you're throwing small cars is Mini Pitch, which I appreciate, of course. But one thing I've been thinking of recently is that it's been a while since there's been a good Godzilla game. And I would think something kind of that scale would be the type of creature that would be throwing cars to begin with. So it doesn't have to be within the Godzilla license, but maybe something kind of like there was King of the Monsters on PlayStation 2? I don't remember what it's called, but it was there was kind of a kaiju fighting game. But I would love to see with our modern technology what we can do with a kind of giant mech or kaiju brawler in a way where have a 3D fighting arena that kind of takes place in this big city, and you can kind of pick up buildings to smash over each other and pick up cars to throw at each other and elevators and such. But like really kind of get the environmental destruction feeling, right? Because I don't think we've really done that just yet.
Yeah, I think that would be cool. And you could almost go a little Katamari on this as you continue to get like more and more larger monsters and those sort of things going on. I one of the things I do like is the different sorts of types of monsters is the right thing, but the way I'd almost describe it is I guess it's breed of monster or something, but the way Mothra would throw something, or the way a flying beast, again, we don't necessarily want to be Godzilla here, but what would a flying creature do versus what would a large lizard creature do versus, even King Kong being in this, create a whole cinematic universe here.
We've done some ideas around giant monsters in the past. I remember we've done one that was like a battle royale type of thing where you just kept getting bigger and bigger the more monsters you ended up defeating until it was kind of a one-on-one of creatures of really epic proportions. But I'd love to really kind of get the destruction feeling right. I'd love to, walk through buildings and have them be, obstacles that we could throw at the opponents, things that we're tripping over, things that we can really kind of kick through and watch all the little particle effects go flying everywhere. Let's incorporate some real joy in the destruction here. Did you ever play that Crackdown 2 multiplayer that was supposed to be so, destruction fully featured?
Or is that Crackdown 3?
Crackdown 3, rather.
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't. No, I have no idea what the heck the Crackdown multiplayer ever ended up being.
Yeah, I didn't either. It's a standalone download, and so I really should just, give it a try at some point. But man, I really want to see like real destructible environments. That's one of the things when I was playing Just Cause 2. I was like, this is, so close to being a perfect action game. I just wish there were, more destructible environments in this game's beautiful world. And 2 Just Cause games later, and still like we're yet to crack that egg. Maybe in the next generation.
Yeah, that's interesting. So now we kind of in this space of, I'm thinking about like, is it real time? Is it me and multiple monsters all at the same time? Or the way he's describing it is also a little bit Olympic, right? I guess we're all missing the Olympics this year, where it's like how almost like a pilot wings of these kaiju monsters of like, okay, now this kaiju is going to come up and see what they can do for tearing apart the Empire State Building. How many buildings can they throw off the island in 5 minutes or something like that?
We could also take it in a different direction. Instead of being large ourselves, we could be normal-sized people with kind of like a really powered up gravity gun in a way, like in a Half-Life type of story, where we're throwing things that are much too large and very dangerous for us to be throwing, but almost kind of like a social distancing friendly sumo match in a way. We're kind of one-on-one with another opponent, or even you could do like 4 players, like one on each kind of side of a circle, each chucking large environmental objects at each other, trying to flatten each other, either pushing each other out of the circle or maybe just kind of flatten each other in these busy urban city street type of environments. Obviously it's easy to take shelter from something the size of a bus coming and hitting you, but if you're just spending the entire match throwing bricks, then it's going to take forever for you to land the killing blow in as such.
I like that. I do like the idea of, poor Hulk. The Hulk has never really gotten a good standalone game, and maybe there is something to Bruce Banner and or the Hulk and She-Hulk both getting their increasing levels of bigness as they compete in different things. And so you keep hulking up, and of course you go from playing something very domesticated to like trying to get angrier and angrier and getting larger and larger over time. Although that feels like I do feel like we've pitched something where you keep getting bigger in a multiplayer match.
Yeah, Yeah, we've done that, but I like that you say very kind of domestic in a way.
Yeah,
Makes me think of like Octodad, where you have a series of tasks to perform, and then the passage of time, perhaps you kind of hulk out a little bit more and end up, inadvertently destroying things. Things become more difficult to. This could also be a fun kind of VR thing to be, really strong, because you don't have that same sense of like pressure feedback that you do if you were to hold something in real life. So, it would be very easily to inadvertently crush something. So maybe you are a Hulk that has to deliver wedding cakes and has to, and whatever it takes to get there, but, making sure that all these kind of delicate things that you're trying to perform, you have to, cut somebody's hair, you have to, fix a car, all these kinds of things. And it's just kind of like fumbling with your big, strong, meaty hands.
What if, so I do like the idea of it's often joked that, very strong men, while they have exceptional strength, doing something as simple as say scratching their own back is a true challenge. So I do like the idea of picking this is almost a potential pitch of a format of like a fusion frenzy or something, where but more domestic. So let's set it in like, a small town or something like that, and you pick these big burly men, put it in Austria, so we get a bunch of funny accents and all this stuff. Shout out to Austria, your accent. Then you could have almost like a wheel of activities, and so you have, you sign up for like a match of 3 or a match of 5 or whatever, and the wheel spins, and you get everything from like, throw a Mini Cooper, which is, could be just like a button mashing type of event. It's almost like a Mortal Kombat minigame or something like that, to scratch your own back. And that's even harder than throwing, the Mini Cooper.
Fold the laundry and that kind of thing.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Like, rock a baby to sleep and that sort of thing. So you could really have all these little cutscenes of these rather large muscle men looking pretty silly. I think that could be fun.
Yeah, that's all the time we have on that one. Let's give it a name and wrap it up. I was thinking if there's a pun to make on hardcore, you can do like hard chores.
Hard chore.
It's a pretty funny name. Thank you, Mike Esguerra, as always, for sending that one in. Looks like we have a couple more of yours. And if anyone else would like to populate our inbox, then we would be happy to throw a little bit of variety in there as well. Of course, we always love hearing from our repeat friends who are just bursting with ideas. But, getting some new names on the pod is always great as well. It gives us a little bit of affirmation that people are continuing to discover and enjoy the podcast, and it gives us a great variety of titles to be inspired by. So if you would like to contribute something, you can do so by going to playwrightcast.com/pitch. You can email us playwrightcast@gmail.com. You can tweet us @playwrightcast, and this could really come from anybody. The ideas can be as complex or as simple as you want them to be. It's our job to make them into good radio.
Special thank you to PROTODOME for the use of our theme song, Hello World, off the album Blue Noise. While you're at it, check out all the other great shows on the Kane and Rinse podcast network, like Kane and Rinse, Sound of Play, and The Sausage Factory.
All right, so to take us out of the show today, are we playing a game, or are we doing a mini pitch? What are we prepared for?
I've got a little government memo game for you, sir.
Okay, cool. Let's do it.
Okay. Here we go. For people that haven't heard this game before, we are reading descriptions of video games from Metacritic, but we've redacted the most important details. That being said, here we go. We should probably do 3 guesses, by the way. We're going to add more structure. It's going to become more of a game each time.
All right, here we go.
You are redacted, a government agent on a mission to regain control of a secret redacted from terrorist hands. Lightly armed and facing an army of foes, Redacted must avoid firefights in order to survive. If Redacted can locate them... Is that real? If Redacted can locate them, he can utilize advanced hardware ranging from silenced pistols to ground-to-air missiles. This is a weird one.
I was pretty confident until ground-to-air missiles came up.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. It's a little, the ground-to-air missiles, I feel like 5% misleading.
Okay. Well, is it...
Guess
so
number one.
I'm kind of between like Splinter Cell and Rainbow Six, somewhere in that general vicinity.
Yeah, you're in the vicinity.
How close am I getting?
You are...
It's within the Clancyverse?
You are warm. You're warm,
Okay.
but it isn't. You're not hot.
Okay, all right. Are we within the Clancyverse?
We are not in Clancyverse.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Let's see. So, government agent. You know what? This could even be Metal Gear Solid. How are we feeling about that? Hey.
Metal Gear Solid. You are Snake, a government agent on a mission to regain control of a secret nuclear weapons.
Yeah, okay.
A secret nuclear weapon base from terrorist hands. Lightly armed and facing an army of foes, Snake must avoid firefights in order to survive. If Snake, I basically just had to redact Snake. If Snake can locate them, which is such a strange sentence, he can utilize advanced hardware ranging from silenced pistols to ground-to-air missiles.
I guess you do fight a helicopter at one point.
There you go. That is PlayStation's 1998 Konami's Metal Gear Solid.
Very cool. Yeah, I keep forgetting that Snake is a government agent. He really feels like
his
he's
own
kind of
thing.
his own. Yeah, he's more like a secret agent. I guess even James Bond is a government agent. So yeah, interesting. Cool.
But I feel like James Bond interacts with the government in the way that Snake is just. I feel like he's never talking. He just talks to like boss or whoever, right?
Yeah, he talks to the colonel, his handler, I guess. Yeah, it's a weird one.
It's
There's
limited
plenty more
government.
that could have gone into that description that didn't. So.
Yeah, it was one of those things that highlighted, yes, video games can be a little generic. Hey, well done. You're on the board.
All right. Very cool. Let's go out for the week. Thank you for listening, and we'll catch you all again next week.
Bye.